Alright, today I'm going to be doing a video about water monitor socialization and husbandry and my socialization techniques and all that good stuff. But I'm going to start out with, I'm not an expert, I am an enthusiast. I know quite a bit, but I'm not an expert. I mean, water monitors are my life and my passion, and I'm an enthusiast, a hardcore enthusiast. But anyways, what I'm going to start off with is, no reason to worry. See, he'll come back up when he does that. And even if he was trying to elude me, I'd still see him come back up. But so I've learned a lot about their psyche. You got to learn to understand their psychology and stuff and how that mind works. Well, and I did lose him for about 10 days here a while back. And how I lost him was I crawled alongside him in the water. And that made him a little nervous of me. And it makes sense because in the wild they got to worry about crocodiles. And when you're doing that in the water, when you're laying on your belly, crawling through the mud, you're mimicking a crocodile. So he got a little uneasy with that. He never really bolted, but I noticed he was uneasy. And I noticed, but I don't know why, I let him walk up on the bank. And I let him walk a good 10, 15 foot from me. And then after that, when they get 10, 15, and that's another thing, approaching them. If I got him out here and somebody walks up to this pond, he's going to freak out and bolt. Probably dive underwater, and it's going to take me a minute for him to come up for air to grab him, but I'll get back to that. When I approached him, he got spooked a little. He didn't really run, but he scuttered. But he scuttered through thick brush that I could not keep up with him in, and I lost sight of him. Come to find out, he's living in this, there's a drain pipe over here, and it's got a metal grate around it. And I honestly didn't think he would be able to squeeze through the grate, which now it's only been less than a week. I don't think he can. I think he's grown that much in a few days that he probably could, but it'd take some real squeezing. Now, take a lot of effort. But approaching, that's a big thing. Like, I guarantee you, I could put him in an outside cage, and when I come outside, he would flip out. And that's why I'm breeding them. I'm getting ready to start breeding them now. I got a female that's about his age, and she's still acclimating. It'll probably take a while before I can handle her. But anyways, when I get my babies, I've learned that by watching them and observing them. They freak out if you approach them from a distance away, unless you're already there, you know, like, and so on and so forth. So when I hatch them, if it's a warm enough, granted it's warm enough in the year, late enough in the year and it's warm, I'm gonna house them outside and work with them outside, which all of my babies, him and Spirit, when I got them, I preferred working with them out in the yard because it's a big open space and a lot less shit for them to get under and hide under, and I can usually run down a hatchling when they bolt in that wide of a space, you know. But I always worked with them outside, so it's never a big shock to them when they go outside. Hell, and I even with him, I took him out in public with me, so nothing's really a shock to him. That's why after even 10 days of being away from me, he never lost his trust with me. Because, I mean, nothing's that shocking for him. Like, I'd put him up in my hoodie or my shirt to where his little head was peeking out my collar, and I'd walk around and take him in stores with me. And that was before he was fully tame, when he was just to the point of being considered handleable, you know, for the most part. And I'd take him out with me, and when people would notice him, they wanted to hold him or whatever, I'd let them hold him, and I'd let them pet him and all that, you know. And, well, I wouldn't let him hold him until which it didn't take long. Honestly, it did not take long. Once he got handleable, within a week, he was tame enough. I trusted other people could hold him without him bolting. But I've learned a lot just by what I do, and I'm making this video because I'm doing things that nobody else really is doing with their water monitors, and or nobody that I really know of. And by what I'm doing, by just observing him, I bring him out here, and I mean, my videos, y'all see my videos, and people, a lot of people will see my video and be like, oh, we're going to hear him losing that animal. We're going to hear him losing it. Well, what you see of me making my videos is only the tip of the iceberg on how much time I actually spend out here outside with my animal. I mean, this is my hobby. This is my favorite thing to do, is come out here and let him walk around this pond and just observe him, you know. I love it. And I've learned a lot of things, and I've come up with a lot of theories that I don't know if they have yet to be proven or not, and I don't even know if my theories are right. But one is he'll walk around with his tail straight up in the air a lot of times out here when he's on land. He'll probably do it in this video at some point, and I'll point that out. And I've noticed that I've never seen one bolt when their tail is up in the air like that. And so on and so forth, you know, and I'll point that out whenever I get there, like I said. But I honestly think when they do that, that's a good sign. That means that life is okay. They're completely calm. They're fine with everything around them. But like how a dog wags his tail. And another thing to tell when they're in a really, really calm state is when they flick their tongue, when they like to flop it out the side of their mouth. That means life is good, they're all calm and everything. But I never force myself on them, like I said. Like his female, I can't handle her right now. Now, babies, I do a little different. I don't force myself on them, but I get them out and handle them. I never restrain them. And then whenever they start getting handleable, like him, even whenever he would act a little scared of me in his cage. Now, unless it's to the point where it's flipping out and just bolting whenever I go into the room, I will pick them up, and I'll hold them till they calm down, and I won't ever restrain them, you know. And I'll just, like what I'll do, I learned from watching nerd videos, is I'll hold them underhanded, and when they're trying to run or whatever, you know, not really run, but straight, like, you know, when they're trying to get away from you, I always hold them, and I'll just, if I had somebody filming this, I could demonstrate, but I kind of treadmill them, and I just keep them off balance, you know, to where they are forced to reassess the situation. And then that gives them time to see that, oh, this ain't so bad. And then and you build like what they call threads, you know, threads of trust. And I never put one up when they're nervous or scared, even when they're babies and they bolt and I'm flipping over all the furniture in the living room to find them. I still will not put that animal up until it has calmed back down, because that's imprinting a negative, that when you put them up and they're scared to death and you've just had to flip over or rearrange your whole living room to find them, and you're like, all right, you're going back in the cage. Don't do that, because their last memory of being out was when you first grabbed them up out of the floor, and that's a terrifying experience. When you reach down and grab them, you're mimicking a predator, like I said. And eye contact, I'll get into eye contact too in this video, but you mimicking a predator, and when your hand grabs them, that's just like a predator grabbing them, you know. And the only thing is, in the wild, when they go through that much stress and that scary thing happens, they die and they ain't never got to worry about it again. If they're a pet and you're not doing your your techniques or methods right, and they got to relive that, I mean, they don't get to die from it. I mean, and then pretty much life is hell. You're just feeding them enough food to keep them alive, just so you can just so you can torment them pretty much, and you don't even know it. And a lot of my experience and what I've learned, you know, has been hands-on. I've learned on my own. And but I mean, and I've learned, I have to say, I've learned a lot from nerd videos, but a lot of stuff I learned on my own, and then I could really relate to what I seen on them videos. But I'm doing things and I'm working with them in ways, and when I get babies and I start breeding them, I'm going to try to produce the most social babies there is, because they're going to be different. They're going to be used to sunlight and everything. And another thing, I encourage people to work with their animals and get them to where they can trust them and allow them to do this, because my animal, Aura right here, is such a happy water monitor, because he gets to explore all this every day. He gets to swim in this and interact with this environment. And that's a treat for them, you know. I mean, they don't ask us to keep them in cages. This animal, I mean, I mean, we keep them against their own free will, you know. So if you're keeping them for the right reasons, your reason should be because you love that animal, and if you love that animal, you want to make its life as happy as possible. And anything you can do to give it a good life, you're going to do it, you know. And this definitely, I love these animals. I'm obsessed with them. They've been my favorite animal since I was 5 years old. And well, 5 to 7. I can't remember my exact age, but I seen one on an episode of The Crocodile Hunter, and I never will forget it. I got the episode recorded. I got that episode, and I still, even though I've seen it a million times, I'll still watch it just because it brings back that excitement I felt whenever I seen that scene of him picking up that huge water monitor out of that temple in Bali. And how friendly it was and shit, and I was like, yep, that's my favorite animal, because before that Komodo dragons was. But it's just something cool about a semi-aquatic lizard, you know. It's like crocodile-like, but then at the same time it's cool like a Komodo dragon, and like an apex predator, you know, can go all over land and everything, where crocodile is confined to water. This dude, he can go everywhere. You know, he ain't gonna last long without water, but he can climb these trees like an iguana. I mean, he can do all kinds of shit. He can smell. I mean, it's amazing. It's like a aquatic Komodo dragon that is friendly and everything, and you can handle them and have them as pets, you know. I wish you could have a Komodo dragon as pets. I wish that if I'm ever a rich man, I'm gonna buy my permit and I'm gonna buy one from the Indonesian government, and I'm gonna own a Komodo. That's honestly, Komodos raised up in captivity around people, they become just as tame, if not more tame, than water monitors do. But back to the subject of this video. My methods, like I said, I carry them around in my shirt when they're babies and whatnot. And if they're too flighty, if they're to the point where they bolt and skedaddle as soon as you enter the room and won't eat around you, regurgitate their meals when they see you, if I'm working with them, I won't attempt to touch them until they calm down. And then after they calm down, hide your eyes. Your eyeballs are everything. I mean, they really are. Get a burlap bag or something and put over your head. This is a theory of mine, and I'm going to start trying it with that female. I'm going to start putting a wore-out shirt around my head where she can't see my eyes. She's finally to the point now to where I could pet her when she's in the water. She'll still close her eyes and pretend I'm not there. And last night I lifted her up out of the water and she sat in my hand, and she opened her eyes and she didn't like it none too much, and she puffed up at me, and I just let her go back out into the cage. And she actually wasn't really full-fledged 100% flipping out just yet, you know. And I just set her back in there, you know, let her go back in. But yeah, I've learned a lot. I've got some theories too, you know, just like with laying on your belly. And what I'm doing here, like I said, I'm breaking new ground, you know. I'm breaking new ground. At first, everybody seen my videos and seen what I was doing. They said I was crazy. This guy's nuts. What is he thinking? I don't go by the books. People that goes by the books, they never accomplish anything new. Discoveries are not made from people that's going by the books and just going by what the books say. What people need to do is they need to write new pages in that book. They need to add more pages to the book. And that's what I'm attempting to do. I'm going into another chapter, Salvatore keeping, allowing your animal to come outside and do this. And it is risky, yes. And I do not advise anybody to attempt this with their water monitor until they have done their homework and they really, really, really studied their psychology and have a good feel of their psychology and understand them. Like, I've spent enough time watching him stuff. I can read what's going on. I'm getting fluent, as I'll say fluent in their language. You got to get fluent in understanding Varanus and most of what one species speaks is the same as the next, you know. I had a Savannah monitor, and at the time I had a baby now and a baby Savannah, and I'd always wanted a monitor, you know, particularly a water monitor. And I got them at a pet store, and I was new to monitors. I didn't get on the internet at the time at all. I hadn't been on my Facebook in years. You know, I didn't start using it till